Hello, this is a bit off brand. We've received our first extended gameplay of Starfield. It's a game that I've been interested in since the first rumours over 5 years ago. And today I'm going to be skipping through the Bethesda talks and really looking at and breaking down some of the key talking points from the gameplay that we've received that you may have missed. Now I'll also leave in the game music and the sound in, but don't forget you can find my copyright-free music and playlists to listen to whilst you play games below in the description. So the first shots of the game look very Fallout-esque to me, and this could actually be the pathing system for when we're like hyper jumping to different solar systems. I just hope that if that is the case, then they actually give us some names for each of the systems so that we know where we're flying to, as it seems a little bit sparse at the moment. After that lovely little intro, we're shown the beautiful Starfield logo. I love how it's depicted, looks great. And then we're brought straight into the action where we're being brought down onto what looks like quite a barren, corally planet. The graphics I'm pretty happy with overall. There's certainly some low poly resolution at times. But generally this is kind of expected with the open world nature of Bethesda games. And it certainly has a similar feel to it, like Star Citizen. I'm just going to guess at this point that this is an automated landing sequence, but I'm really happy with what we're seeing so far. To be honest, when I actually first saw this, I wasn't. I was quite disappointed for the first few minutes. Didn't grasp me that much, but the more that I watch this, the more that I'm enjoying it. And certainly later on in this, there are some stunning points to be brought forward, some really interesting moments. Obviously, we can see down the bottom our UI. We have the compass on the left, and we also have our weapons on the right. And this is our scanning system, and we can actually harvest these by the looks of it. As you saw, we changed the items from the pistol to, I think, like a cutting tool. You can see in the bottom left there's also a notification that there's an enemy nearby. You can see that later as well. Now I'm not sure if this is just a bit of an animation for the sake of the gameplay, but I do like to feel immersed in the environment, the world around us. So that's pretty cool. But presumably if you did attack them, then they'd all come after you, which you don't want to do early on. You can see here that we're harvesting the iron, and you'll actually need to use this later on in the settlement section, which I'll highlight in a little bit. We also know that in addition to iron, we're also going to be able to collect aluminium or aluminum. Looking at the compass, there's the oxygen, the CO2 meter. This isn't used in this particular map, but later on you can actually see that there are barren, hostile worlds that, or hostile atmospheres, I should say, where you actually need to worry about that. Another thing to point out is that the world, I'm presuming, in the bottom left over the compass, actually dictates the nighttime daytime cycles. As you'll see just now, it's changed to more dark. Loving the look of the inside as well, and I can't wait to choose which team to side with, whether it's the Crimson Pirates or one of the other clans. Another really important point to point out as we take on these pirates is that on the right you can actually see the guy come close and you can pickpocket from him. Also notice here how the oxygen is dropping when you run and sprint. So presume it's not just atmospheric but also during combat as well. The combat seems a lot more smoother versus Fallout, which I'm really happy with, as ranged combat has always felt a bit out of place in Fallout games. The lockpicking we're about to see seems much more simplified, and it's going to be interesting to see how this is affected on more difficult locks, because this is just a novice one. It doesn't seem like there's much reason to lose lockpicks. And I think that's the new Equinox weapon. I may have just missed that. I don't know if they've reloaded this save and it's changed the time, but looking at the compass, the daytime has changed again. I love how we're having more ships coming in as well. And also the kill here, the little death animation when you get a critical spot. Looks pretty cool if you ask me. The guy obviously falls down the cliff here. They've had to cut it. Now at this point we're shown Atlantis, and I was kind of hoping for a bit more improvement to the environmental graphics, as it all looks quite flat to me. But obviously this isn't going to keep me from playing an awesome game. I'm really looking forward to this. This is our first real look at what the settlements look like, and they each have different like flavors to them. This is obviously a more richer society. And this is our introduction to Constellation.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about. We're all here because we're committed to the biggest question.
If I'm honest, I feel this is probably the main story that we're following throughout this game. And I think the end goal of finding all the artifacts will probably lead us to having the option to use this ancient technology to either help the galaxy or inevitably destroy planets or even whole galaxies, no doubt knowing Bethesda. Without going more into the story campaign or speculating about the story campaign, what I can say is this app looks absolutely beautiful. All the variety of the environments. Each place has its own different feel and different factions. And I'm sure each and every one of us is going to have our own place that we feel most at home. And though I'm not too happy with how flat the environment looks, graphically speaking, I do think the character detail is really good. Really love how all of these people look. And this wouldn't be a Bethesda game without having factions to join. I'm probably a UCC stuff member, but let me know who you are most likely to join. I'm sure we've got a few pirates among us. Oh, maybe I could be a peacekeeper.
When you sign up with the Crimson Fleet, no one quits.
Also, that very much looked like Chris Pine there. I'm just saying. Once again, it shows off all the different environments that we're going to be exploring and all the enemies. I'm loving how much. This is what I love most about Fallout, Bethesda, Elder Scrolls games, is just the sheer amount of choices. We can go out and do what we want. And this just looks so good. I just want to explore it all. Another big thing for me is the character creation tools. Bethesda does a great job with these, and I'm really happy to see the amount of choices we have in this. I love creating myself in-game, although sometimes a woman, so maybe an alternate self. If you do want me to go more in depth into all of these different skills that we have and backgrounds, then do let me know, because I may well do a video based on that so that we can really break it down, because there's so much to talk about. Also the same with crafting and different technologies. I've just seen, look at all of those different outfits as well. Nice. Obviously we have a leveling system which allows us to pick skills, and the difference in this is that the more we use these skills, the more we level them up, which is a nice addition. Makes us feel like we're getting more proficient with what we're aiming to improve at. Again, I'm excited with all of the different crafting options that's available to us, and that gun looks so cool. And here's the big one for me: Outpost crafting and resource harvesting, as well as shipbuilding. As soon as the Outpost beacon was dropped, we have this yellow border around quite a large area, which I'm guessing means the border is how far we can build out to. I'm also guessing that in the bottom section where it says Outpost 30, that is in regards to how many outposts we can build, but I might be mistaken, as 30 seems pretty high. Once again, we do have a build limit, and you can see how we'll need to manage power as well as resources such as aluminium and iron in order to build the various structures. We can also see wind farms and resource wells. So with me being a factory lover, I'm really intrigued if we have more automation elements like in Fallout, which is actually what brought me to the factory gaming genre, and the fact that we can hire characters as well to do our bidding. I'm really hoping we can build like a fully thriving settlement buzzing with NPCs. Shipbuilding also takes this up a notch. By the looks of it, these are done with modules, as you can see here, and I love how we can choose the look of them with various different customization options. Really cannot wait to build my own ship. Really interested to see how the different varieties of modules impact the performance of the ship for when we're in space. And if this hasn't spoiled us enough, heading into space with our own ships is a pretty interesting experience as well. Notice in the bottom right we have the shield UI, and the same with the left, the various engine components and stuff. I don't know how that's going to affect it, but I'm loving how heavy the ship feels as we're flying. More importantly, I am so excited to get into space combat. One thing to bear in mind while fighting is that if you destroy an enemy ship, you do get experience. So that suggests that there's a leveling system for your ships as well. I don't know if that's just demonstrating how dangerous an enemy is, or whether we can actually have different skills and unlocks available to our ship based on our level. This also gives me the idea of whether we're going to have like a hangar available so that we can have different ships for different tasks should we wish to. Take, for example, these ships. They seem much more freight orientated. You can change your ship depending on the various jobs that you want. Maybe you want to be a trader, you can be a trader, or maybe you want to focus on combat. You actually see us destroying. That looks like we were pirating. That definitely looks like we were pirating then. I kind of really like the idea of being able to attach onto another ship and then board it and kill all the crew. Does that mean we get to keep their ship as well? Or destroy it for parts? I don't know. I am super excited for this. Honestly, the more I watch it, the more excited I am for us. We're finishing off with a look at the amount of exploration we can do with over 1,000 planets we can explore. That is crazy. And I'm really intrigued as to how the scale of these planets will be and how much we can explore on each planet. Now, I should mention, if you do want me to cover this on my channel, make sure to submit your answer in my poll. I've put one on our community tab. Whether I cover it on this channel or possibly another one, I'm dying to hear your thoughts and really looking forward to it. If you enjoyed this little breakdown of everything, then make sure to hit the thumbs up and share it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks goes to all of our amazing supporters, most notably our solo clips patrons, The Calamity, Cerebral Tag, James Irwin and Firefless, as well as our Lunas, Dixie Chris, Lord of July and Ben, as well as our Blood Moon of the day, which today is Deshlom. Anyway guys, until next time, as always, ciao for now.